Hey, what's up you guys? John from Old Reading Farm here. Thanks for joining us. So we've been hyping up this announcement that we're going to make for a long time now, and we are ready to tell you what it is, but first, we gotta take you there. Let's go. So we're getting a fourth dog, right?
We're not getting a fourth dog.
Cow?
What are we doing? Leave your comment down below.
What do you think?
Peacocks.
Peacocks.
Sheep.
Cheap?
Sheep. Sheep, sheep, sheep.
Cheap?
Sheep.
Sheep.
Sheep, sheep,
Sheep.
sheep. What do you think?
The suspense.
What's all this?
I don't know. Some dilapidated old broken down house.
What's all that?
Some other dilapidated old broken down house that we now own.
Woo!
We bought a new farm! All right, so it's 40 acres, which is huge. That is 20 times our current property. It's got 4 houses on it. It's got houses. What are some of the other? It's got a shitload of trees that we're gonna need to cut down. But so we're gonna be living in the cottage, which has a garage, which is awesome. It's got a ton of space. Did I mention that it's got 40 acres? 40 acres! Imagine all of the emus and alpacas and chickens that we can have on 40 acres. Why don't we show you around a little? Follow me. So here we are outside of the big house. So yeah, so 40 acres! So there's 4 houses on the property. And Kat and I and our families have been talking about doing a family compound type situation for a long time.
Family is very important.
Family is very important.
So this house is huge and it's in not very good condition. And then there's that house, which is much smaller and in a little bit better of condition, but it still needs a lot of work.
Yeah, it needs a lot of work. And so that's going to be one of our first priorities, is getting that house, the smaller house, livable. That's where we'll be. And in the meantime, you know, there's some stuff that we can probably do, especially like cleaning on the inside and things like that. But then there's, you know, electrical and plumbing and stuff like that that we'll have to have people do. But as you can see, this is just some of the cleared part here, which, I mean, even just that, I think is
Probably our entire yard.
yeah. And so, you know, obviously with this, we're gonna have to build a whole lot of stuff. So, you know, we have both short-term and long-term plans. So one of our short-term plans is to get a temporary alpaca structure out here and some fencing. And you know we love cheap fencing. So we're gonna do both of those, and that's probably gonna be our number one priority that's not the house. Because we're still going to have our previous house, and so we're still going to have stuff there. We're planning on still doing the flowers there this year. And so we're going to have to do a little bit of back and forth, but that's what we got to do. But I mean, 40 acres. So since this spot behind us here is mostly clear, we're probably going to put the alpacas somewhere in this vicinity and set up some temporary fencing for them.
We're going to meet with the town ahead of time so that we are in the good graces of the town and learn from some of our mistakes at our last farm.
Yep.
Ask for permission instead of forgiveness. We're going to try it that way this time.
Yep.
So we're gonna build some kind of, I mean, we say temporary. It'll probably be, what do you think, a year?
Something like that.
Probably
Yeah.
have them for about a year in this like yard area, because what we need to do is save up some money to cut down some of those trees.
There's a lot.
So it's almost 40 acres here, and I would say the majority of it is wooded. Some of it is wetlands, so we won't be able to clear back there.
But that's mostly way in the back, so
Way
that's
in
good.
the back. 40 acres is so big, guys. You can just, I mean, from somebody who's lived in 2-acre lots for my whole life or smaller, it takes like 25 minutes to walk from one end of 40 acres to the other. It's a hike.
And I don't think we've even been all the way back there yet. So
Right, yeah.
as you can see, there's like a foot and a half of snow on the
We're
ground.
not going anywhere
So,
right now.
Yeah.
We're just here.
We're just here.
So one of the other things that we've been talking about doing, and maybe you've been wondering how we're going to do this, at our old piece of property, we had told you a couple times that our town allows us to have 50 chickens. And now we're talking about getting all these Polish chickens and getting Appenzeller Spitzhaubens and Rhode Island Reds and doing chicken trades with people and hatching chickens. We have Silkies coming.
What?
None of this is news to John. So I don't know if any of you were like thinking in your heads like, they say they have 50 chickens. They say they're allowed to have 50 chickens. Chicken math clicking in. It's because we've known for a while that we were going to do this. So our eventual plan is to build some kind of chicken village where each individual breed of chickens has its own individual house and run, and they can all live in harmony with each other in this little like chicken community. So we're going to do that here. Won't that be fun?
All right. So the other thing that we're gonna do, and one of the things that really started our YouTube channel was building a window greenhouse. So we are gonna do that also here, but here we're gonna also work with the town and see if we can make the biggest frickin' window greenhouse you have ever seen. You know, maybe somewhere back over here. Again, we'll need to clear a little bit of trees, which makes us a little bit sad. But we feel we do a lot for the tree community. And think of all the stuff we're going to be able to grow in this beautiful greenhouse. And so we'd like to be sort of close to the house, so that we can see it and enjoy it. So, maybe somewhere back here where it's flat. Who knows? The great thing about having this much land is that the world is our oyster.
Another thing that we really want to do is build a footpath around the entire perimeter of this property. The reason why is because my in-laws, John's parents, really like to ride bikes, and riding in a 40-acre circle might be super fun for them. The other thing we want to do is we're going to start working on halter training the alpacas, and we would like to be able to take them on walks. So outside of their pasture, get them to see the sights, hear the sounds, do whatever it is that alpacas do, and we think it'll be perfect to have just a nice big perimeter pathway so that they can enjoy the entirety of the 40 acres.
So we've also talked about, I think in the past, that we've wanted to get more alpacas and have baby alpacas. So one of the other things we're going to do is get an extra big, giant, humongous, really oversized barn so that we can house as many alpacas as we can. Because like we found out recently, in some of the Facebook groups where they have like alpaca rehoming, it's kind of hit or miss that they're near us. But when they're near us, we want to be able to say like, okay, so this guy needs a home, let's bring him home. So we're going to have obviously one for boys, one for girls. And then hopefully down the road, this will be a perfect place to start breeding alpacas. And wouldn't it be great to have little baby alpacas everywhere?
So the last thing to tackle on our long-term plans here at this farm, and I mean last thing, we're going to be tackling a whole lot coming up and you're going to get to watch it, but this big looming monster in the background. This house is enormous. It's 3 stories, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, like 3,000 square feet. It's so much more space than we need, than my family needs, than John's family needs. So I don't know what we're going to do with this beast, but we're going to need to get it addressed because I think right now there might be a raccoon living in it. Yeah, not cool. Raccoons have hands. We don't like.
Also, he's living there rent-free.
Yeah,
unacceptable.
Right. So we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do about this big house. Eventually, we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do with this big house. I don't know yet. So we'll have to wait and see. So what we're gonna have to do right away is get this into livable condition. And by that, we do not mean we want to be on HGTV. We mean we want electricity, running water, flushing toilets, and some kind of heat. That's all we're asking for right now.
And a new kitchen.
That's not on the menu right now. We've dumped a lot.
New hardwood floors.
We've dumped a lot of money into
Tile
this.
backsplash. Sorry, I'll stop.
We've dumped a lot of money into this property, so what we need for us is the basics, so that way we can get the basics for the animals, and that way we can all come over here.
Then we can really start working.
Let's get to work. So there is a lot up in the air right now. We are still going to continue to own Old Reading Farm. Hopefully my friends Jess and Victor are going to move into the house and help us take care of the animals while we're up here working. We're also going to flower farm Old Reading Farm one more time. We have tulips in the ground, we have daffodils in the ground. We're not letting that stuff grow. I planted probably 200 peony bushes. Eventually
Sure
those
did.
are all gonna get dug up and brought over here, but not right now because it's winter. So we're going to farm one more year at Old Reading Farm while we're working on infrastructure here.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for watching this video. We really appreciate it. Please give us a like, leave us a comment, let us know what you think. And as always, please subscribe. We post videos on Mondays and Fridays. We go live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, so make sure to stop by. We'll see you next time.
This Wednesday, we're definitely going to be talking about this house.
Peace.